Hello, and welcome to this week's Penn Energy News Day. I'm J.B. Avance. A top energy advisor to the Iraqi Prime Minister revealed to reporters that oil titans ExxonMobil, BP, and Eni will invest approximately $100 billion to upgrade 3 oil fields in southern Iraq. Some $50 billion of the investment will be spent to upgrade the massive West Curran Phase 1 oil field developed by ExxonMobil, with the remaining $50 billion allocated to upgrade the Rumaila and Zubair oil fields by BP and Eni. Pumping close to 2 million barrels a day, combined production at these 3 oil fields represents the majority of Iraq's total oil output, which currently stands at 2.9 million barrels per day. The long-term contracts stipulate that international companies should spend money developing these fields, then would start receiving costs and remuneration fees per extra produced barrels when they reach 10% of baseline output increase. British oil major BP announced that it has reached an agreement with Anadarko Petroleum to settle all claims between the companies related to the Deepwater Horizon accident. Under the agreement, Anadarko will pay BP $4 billion in a single cash payment. BP will apply the payment to the $20 billion trust it established to meet individual, business, and government claims, as well as the cost of natural resource damages. Anadarko will also transfer all of its 25% interest in the Macondo lease to BP. Kinder Morgan has entered into a definitive agreement to purchase all outstanding shares of El Paso Corporation in a deal valued at approximately $38 billion, including the assumption of outstanding debt at El Paso and El Paso Pipeline Partners. In the announcement, Kinder Morgan outlined that the transaction, which has been approved by each of the company's boards of directors, will result in the creation of the largest midstream energy company in North America. Following close of the deal, the combined enterprise will also become the largest owner and operator of natural gas pipelines and storage assets in North America, with approximately 67,000 miles of natural gas transportation pipelines. The Canadian National Energy Board has granted the Kitimat LNG project a 20-year license to export liquefied natural gas internationally. The Kitimat LNG project will include the construction of a natural gas liquefaction unit, LNG storage, and marine onloading facilities. The initial phase of the construction on the facility will be able to process 5 million metric tons of LNG a year, which is about 700 million cubic feet of LNG a day. To be built on First Nations land under an agreement with Hassla First Nation, the Kitimat LNG facility is planned for IR number 6 Bish Cove, which is about 400 miles north of Vancouver on Canada's west coast. Statoil and Brigham Exploration Company announced they have entered into a merger agreement for Statoil to acquire all of the outstanding shares of Brigham for $36.50 per share through an all-cash tender offer. The total equity value is approximately $4.4 billion, reflecting an enterprise value of approximately $4.7 billion based on net debt as of June 30, 2011. Brigham, based in Austin, Texas, has a strong position in the attractive Bakken and Three Forks tight oil plays in the Williston Basin in North Dakota and Montana. The transaction will provide Statoil with more than 375,000 net acres in the Williston Basin, which holds potential for oil production from the Bakken and Three Forks formations. At this early stage of development, the risked resource base is estimated at 300 to 500 million barrels of oil equivalent equity. Thank you for joining us this week. For these stories and much more, go to pennenergy.com.